did do the exam a little bit differently. I pulled the problems and that absolutely didn't work. So I'm sorry about that. And I do have exam P8 scheduled for tomorrow at 8 o'clock. I call. So tomorrow, exam P8 at 8 o'clock. So I apologize about the fiasco on Friday. I'm actually going to teach first lesson today, and it's going to be an easy lesson. So I have prepared you with the necessary prerequisites, and now you're going to see that was a good idea to do that. So things are going to be easier now that we did that. And so, but I have a couple of announcements first, and then I want to show you lesson 1-1 in Google Classroom. So, all right. First of all, I announced this last week. Make sure that you have the Math Wizard teams open on a tab at the top of your screen so I don't have to wait to take attendance. Last week, I did mark 3 people absent who came in 5 or 10 minutes late, and you can't come in 5 or 10 minutes late to the Math Wizard teams. You have to be able to get in there quickly because I want to go from the teams to the back to WebEx to the teams, WebEx, teams, WebEx. So I need you to have the Math Wizard team tab open on the top so you can get in there easily. I want you to know that I did spend a few hours changing the teams this weekend. And so I put careful thought into the teams. Like I just didn't randomly put students anywhere. I strategically put students together that I thought would be good teams or good for one another. So you will be seeing those when we work in teams. Also on the exams, make sure that your scratch paper answers match the exam answers. So I had quite a few students who, for example, put a -1 on their scratch paper and then on the exam put a 1. Can't do that. There are students playing games with me. I know all of you guys are on the up and up and you're people of good integrity, but I do have some students that are unsure of things. So they think if they put a -1 one place and a 1 in the other place that I'll give credit for one of the answers, and that's not going to work. So you have to give the answer that's on your scratch paper on the exam. Also, make sure that you do the globe problems online so that you know how to write answers the way the software expects it. At first, I wasn't going to hold you that accountable, but I just feel like the day and time that we're in, you're going to have a lot of things online. You're going to have a lot of exams online in future classes, and you need to know how to play the game. In other words, you need to know how to input the answers. And so I do expect you to look on the online text for globe problems and make sure that you know how to input the online answers the way the software expects it. Okay, those are all my announcements. So what I would like to do before I start teaching lesson 1-1 is I want to share my screen with you and show you the lesson in Classroom. Okay, I think I just posted this assignment. Can you all see this?
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, this lesson focused on graphs and the graphing utilities. So after the lesson, you should be able to points, graph equations, interpret calculator information, and look at graphs and interpret graphs. Now, in the material section, there is a sheet called parent functions in their graphs, and it contains 12 different parent functions and various characteristics about each function. So we're going to be studying these 12 different graphs in class. And let me just tell you, if you had me or a teacher that taught you how to graph using transformations, you're going to want to do that. Okay. If you do not know how to do transformations, we will get to it. You're lucky I'm teaching it again. But you're going to have to make a t-table. In other words, and I'll show you, you're going to have to input an x value into a function and output a y value to graph the ordered pairs. Get to that. Anyhow, this is the lesson. It's about 30 some problems, and this is going to be due on Wednesday night. Now, if you're wondering, why is she making it due so soon? Well, it's only problems, so I figure you could do 15 problems on Monday and 15 problems on Tuesday. So, yeah, I am paying attention to the number of problems I'm giving you, and you should do this by Wednesday night. All right, just a reminder that the odds are in the back of your book. Be sure to grade your assignment to make sure you understand what's going on and make corrections. And then make sure you click on the globes on the online in order to know how to correctly input answers in the exam. All right, now I wanted to show you that paper that I'm talking about. I gave you this in the material section. So this sheet shows 12 different parent functions that we're going to study in this class. And here it is. I'm going to talk about this today. These are all the parents. So y equals x looks like a line. Y equals x squared looks like a parabola. Y equals x cubed looks like a snake. This is exponential growth. This is a rational function. Y equals absolute value of x is a v. Square root of x looks like it goes to the right. Cube root of x looks like a sideways snake. This is logarithmic and rational, but I'll be showing you these today in the notes. But I put these in the materials section. All right. So I'm going to start this lesson. It went pretty good last period. Like I said, I'm going to show you how to graph ordered pairs. I'm going to show you how to graph equations by making a table. And I'm going to talk about the calculator. So this is I'm just laying the foundation. Anybody who's absent today, I hope video, because this is the foundation of some stuff we're going to be doing. All right, so here we go. Can you look at page 150 in your book? Page 150. So we're going to skip over to the assignment, and I'm going to work problems out of each section, but I just wanted to show you the objectives here. I'm going to show you how to plot points in the rectangular coordinate plane. I'm going to show you how to graph. I'm going to show you the graphing calculator. We're going to look at the X and Y intercepts, and then we're going to look at some story problems and match graphs to stories. Now look on page 158. Page 158. Okay, you are going to need the calculator. So for those of you who don't have a calculator, you will not be able to do the work from here on out. So we're going to be using the calculator extensively. Today I'm training on the calculator. So some of the problems you will not be able to do without a calculator. So remember, the school is open Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 8 to 11. Make sure that you get a TI 83 or 84, but make sure you have this calculator if you want to be able to do the work in here. All right, now these first problems in 1 through 12, you just have to graph ordered pairs, and you can graph them in one graph. So the reason why this is called an ordered pair is because it's in order X, Y, X comes before Y in the alphabet. So one thing that's really shocking to me as a high-level math teacher is the number of students that don't really know how to graph an ordered pair. So what you need to remember is that X is left or right, and the Y is up or down. So if it's a negative, you're going to go to the left. If it's a positive, you're going to go to the right. For the Y value, if it's a negative, you're going to go down. And if it's a positive, you're going to go up. So for example, I want you to read this. I don't want you to read this as 2, 5. I want this read as right 2, up 5. So you would start at the origin, which is 0, 0. And you would go right 2, up 5. That's it. So let's do a whole bunch of them. Can someone unmute yourself and read this to me, please? So how would you read this the way I want?
Left 1, up 4.
Yes, left 1, up 4, done. Number 6. Can a different person unmute yourself and read this to me, please?
Left 4, down 2.
Yep. So from the origin, you're going to go left 4, down 2, and put a point. Good job. So see how fast you're going to go through this assignment? So somebody else and read this to me.
Right 3, down 2.
Yep, right 3, down 2. Good job. And then I'm going to make up my own examples. So somebody read that to me, please. Can you even see it?
Right 2, and that's it. Just right 2.
Right 2, 0. Right 2, 0. And then my last example is this. Can somebody read that to me, please?
Up 3, 0.
Say it again.
Up 3, 0.
This is 0. This is up 3, or is this 0 down 3?
Down 3.
Yeah. So it's 0 down 3. So 0 down 3. Let's do a couple more. Somebody read that to me, please.
0, up 2.
All right, one more. Can somebody read that to me, please?
Left 3, 0.
Left 3, right. All right, does anybody have any questions about how to graph an ordered pair? The X is first, left or right. The Y is second, up or down. Please don't mess it up. That stresses me out. So we got to make sure we know how to do this. You can graph all the points in one graph. Okay, now we're going to move on to graphing. They want you on number 13 to make an input-output table. We're not going to do that in this class. So I'm only going to do it in this section, but we're going to use transformations. So those of you who do transformations, go ahead and do this section. You're going to do it in about 5 minutes. Everybody else is going to take about 30 minutes to do this. But I will teach everyone how to do transformations. So let's look at number 14. transformations, you know that this is the quadratic shifted up 2. If you don't know that, it's simple. But I just want to talk about something first. So there's a bunch of parents you on a sheet of paper. Show you these guys. Because your graphic is going to include all these. It's not going to just be a line. So it's going to be a quadratic. It's going to be a bunch of different, assume you know how to do this. Okay, now, these are just some of them. In fact, it's only 8 of them. They're called parents. And the reason why these are called the parents is because this graph came from a parent. Okay, so a parent is the most basic graph. I'm going to talk extensively about this in the future, not today. So what I want you to know is that the basic graphs, this guy always looks like a line. This guy always looks like a quadratic parabola. This guy always looks like a snake. This guy always looks like a W. This guy always looks like a V. This guy always goes to the right. This guy looks like a sideways snake. And this guy goes up the y-axis and out like that. So I'm just telling you, anytime you see a function with a cube, I don't care what it looks like, it's going to look like a snake. So I don't care if it's up, down, reflected, I don't care what it is, it's going to look like some type of snake. Anything that has a square in it, like this one, is going to look like a parabola. Anything that just has an X looks like a line. Anything that looks like X to the 4th looks like a W. This is just some of them. So this information is going to be necessary when I teach transformations. You're going to have to look at a problem and go, ah, that's a quadratic. And you know what it looks like. Right now, you don't necessarily have to know this unless you're going to use transformations to graph. So for everyone who does not know how to do a transformation, this is the quadratic. And this means it's shifted up 2. But I'll show you how to make a table. This is pre-algebra. And they want you to input all these values. So -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3. So this isn't hard, it's just tedious. And we never want to do this again in our entire lives. We want to be able to do transformations quickly. So for those of you that know how to do transformations, basically you can just graph that right now off the top of your head. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to put a -3. So that would be 9 plus 2 is 11. Now you're going to input a -2 in for x. So 4 plus 2 is 6. Now you're going to put a -1 in, which would be 1 plus 2 is 3. 0 squared plus 2, 0 squared is 0, right? 1 squared is 1, plus 2 is 3. 2 squared, 4, plus 2 is 6. And 2 cubed is 8, plus 2. That isn't right. So -3 squared is 9. 8, 10. It's weird. Should be the same. Why is that not the same? Oh, because I'm sorry, I put the wrong number in. Should be the same. So there you go. That's 9, 10, 11, there. So you're gonna graph it. See how tedious this is? You do want to know a better way. So this is how we all started learning how to graph, but we don't want to do this now. So first of all, that's left 2 up 6, left 1 up 3, 0 up 2, right 1 up 3, right 2 up 6. And I'm not going to do that one. So we know this looks like a parabola. So you draw the parabola. So it's a real pain if you don't know how to do transformations. Let's do number 24. Now 24 is not a parabola, it's absolute value. So you do want to know that absolute value is a b. If you're doing transformations, this is just the parent shifted down one. If you don't have transformations yet, you will in the future. I'm going to do a table. So you're inputting an x into the function and you're outputting a y to get an ordered pair. So once again, they're giving you these numbers. So absolute value of -3 minus 1 would be a +3 minus 1 is 2. So you're going to graph the ordered pair left 3 up 2. Put in the absolute value -2 is 2 minus 1 is 1. So you're graphing left 2 up 1. So you're putting the absolute value of -1, which is 1 minus 1 is 0. So left 1, 0. The absolute value of 0 is 0 minus 1 is -1. 0 down 1. Put in a 1. The absolute 1 is 1 minus 1 or 0. The absolute value of 2 is 2 minus 1 is 1. So you're going right 2 up 1. And then the absolute value of 3 is 3 minus 1 is 2, right 3 up 2. So it's just tedious. We don't want to do it that way. So now we haven't even graphed. We got the ordered pairs. Still have to graph. So in all else, let's say you can't remember anything, your last resort is to make a table. And so you can always make a table if you can't remember what to do with anything. So here's the graph. All right, so you're going to go left 3 up 2. You're going to go left 2 up 1. You're going to go left 1, 0, 0 down 1, right 1, 0, right 2 up 1, right 3 up 2. There, we know that this is absolute value. It looks like a V. Make sure you draw a V, don't draw a parabola. Okay, so this is what you're going to have to do. If you do not know how to do transformations from Algebra 2, you're going to have to make a table and graph in section 13 through 28. All right, any questions? All right. We're going to look at the calculator now. Now, if your calculator is not working properly, you might have to reset it And you and I can do that, so just let me know, and we can do it some other time. Okay, now, I'm specifically talking about problems 29 through 40 right now. So 20 through 40, and I want you to turn in your book to page 153. So look at page 153. So I'm going to explain this in a minute, but I want to talk about the calculator first. The calculator is a good tool, but it's got a long ways to go before it's really good. So first of all, it doesn't show arrows. So when you graph a parabola, it may look like that on the calculator. So this is the viewing window. There's no arrows, but it should have arrows on it. So you have to be smarter than the average bear and know that there's arrows on that. In addition, there's no numbers on the axes. So they're not numbered. You have what these tick marks are by the way you defined them. So no numbers. This up here is a standard viewing window. So let's set up a standard viewing window on your calculator. So you see these keys up here? We're going to put equals in there. The window is what we're going to look at right now. You can zoom into your graph. Don't worry about trace right now. That's where we're going to graph. So basically we're focused on y equals and the graph key. And if you go second graph, you can get the table of what the graph looks like. Okay, so here's what I want everybody to do. On your calculator, I want everybody to put in the quadratic. So there's two ways to. So under the equation editor right here, y equals, go to y equals, and your x key is right here. It's not the alpha key, it's this key. So if you hit this key, there's your x, and you could put x squared or x2. So I want everybody to do that. So in the editor, y equals, you're going to put in x squared. That you're going to come over here and hit graph. Hey, and tell me, were you able to do the graph?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now, if you go to second graph, you can get the table. So see the table? So hitting the key gives you the graph. If you go to second graph, it gives you the table. So what does this stuff mean? Well, if you go to window, this calculator is defined. So it says x min is -10, x is 10, your ones, y min is -10. See here? Okay, that's under setting. But let me what it means. X min means -10 tick marks. X max is positive tick marks. And that scale means you're counting by ones, because you can count by fours, fives, whatever. So your Y min is -10, and your Y max is 10. So basically, the window is showing how you defined your graph. And this could change. I mean, if you have a graph over here, you could change -10. So it's all in the window setting. So here's what I wanted to explain. This -10 means X min. This +10 means X max. And that's how you're counting. You're counting by ones, which is called the scale. Over here, this is your Y min, Y max, and this is your scale. You're counting by one, by five, whatever you want to count by. So for example, if you saw this, you would know how to, right? So the X's will come first, then the Y's. This means that X goes out to 20, and it goes right to -10, counting by twos. This is Y min at -50 up to 10, counting by fives. So turn back to page 159. You're going to have to be able to explore the calculator. Okay, look at problem number 33. On problem number 33, they want to know which equation goes with y sub 2. So tell me how you would do that. So they want to know which equation, it's multiple choice, A, B, C, or D. Which one of fits with y sub 2? That's the output value. So given those x's in the table, outputs y sub 2. Well, couldn't you put the equation in the equation editor? Couldn't you put x plus 8 in here? X graph. And then go second table. And that gives you the y values, right? So does that match what's in the book or for y sub 2? No, it doesn't match, right? Oh, actually, we got to go down. I'm sorry, we got to go down to -3. So go to -3. Go up to -3. Okay, now, oh shoot, hold on. There. Does that match what's in that? No? All right, so let's go back into the equation editor, y equals, clear that out, and put in the next equation, x minus 2. So remember your x is here, x minus 2. And hit graph. And then go to second. Does that match?
Ms. Burge, my calculator doesn't want to graph. It keeps saying error. And then,
Okay, that means you have to reset later. So I'll reset it with you because you're getting errors. So go to second mem down here. Second mem. So go to second mem and pick reset. Then pick all RAM. And then pick reset. And it should clear out your calculator.
okay, yeah, it says RAM cleared.
Okay, now go into y equals and put in these different equations and see which one matches, which equation, figure it out which equation goes with it. Let's try 2 minus x. So put in 2 and hit graph. And then go second graph to get the table. And then use the arrow key to go up to -3. Does that match?
This is what I got. I got this.
Okay, what I'm asking, C, which is 2 minus x. Does this match with when you look at the book?
Yeah, they both have -3.
Well, it should be, these are the x values. I'm asking about the y values. Do the y values match?
No.
These y values don't match y sub 2 in the book?
Oh, yes. Yes.
So this would be the answer, right? For 33, it's C.
Yeah.
Okay, do you guys understand what you're doing or not?
Just a little bit.
Do you understand the calculator? You're putting the equation under y sub y equals. You're graphing graph to look at the table. Anybody want to ask me any questions? Because I'm going on. So you're either going to have to work with me on your own or you're going to ask me questions now, but I'm not going to stand here and try to guess what you know and what you don't know. So anybody want to ask me any questions about problems 29 through 40?
It's the same. We're looking at the same graph where the y1 is blue and y2 is red. For
Well, what
29.
they're giving you in the book is they're giving you always put in X. And what they're showing is they're showing two output values. They're showing y sub 1 as an output, y, and they're showing y sub 2 as another output. But you're inputting those x's. So you're always inputting x's and getting out y's. Sometimes they call them y sub 1, y sub 2, y sub 3, y sub 4. But you're always inputting x's. So when you go to second table, you see the x's? Those are the x's that are being input. Y's are being output, and they want to know which equation matches it.
Oh, okay.
So the equation we had in there was this. So that was the table for this. When you put in a different equation, you're going to have a different table. right?
Right.
Do you understand or no?
I understand a little more, yeah.
Like, let's say we put in D, which is 1 minus 2x. I'm going to go to my equation editor and I'm going to put in 1 minus 2x. So I'm going to clear that out. 1 minus 2 times x. Now I'm going to hit graph. Now I'm going to look at the table. I'm going to -3. And that x's, those are going to be the output values.
Okay, yeah.
Right?
Right. Yes, I got that too.
Okay. So answer the questions by inputting functions and looking at tables. All right, the next concept is intercepts. So this is just an example. Half of a line. So they're going to want you to see intercepts and the y-intercepts. So intercepts are where the graph is crossing the axis. So where is the graph crossing the x-axis? And these are ordered pairs. So what point is the graph crossing the x-axis?
At 3, 0.
At right 3, 0. Good. Okay, at what point is the graph on the y-axis?
0 up 1.
Right. Now, you're not going to see this in your book, I don't think. This is how I like it because these are points. So in your book, you might see the x-intercept written like that, and you might see the y-intercept written like that. Well, you need to know that for the exam, but I hate when they do that. But you might need to know that for the exam. So here's a parabola. So they're going to want to know what are the x-intercepts. There's 2 of them. And they're going to want to know the y-intercept. So somebody different, unmute yourself and tell me, what are the x-intercepts?
-1 and 4.
Left 1.
Oh, the
left
intercept?
one.
My bad.
Good. 1. What's that point?
0.
Yep, left 1, 0. And this point is what?
4, 0.
Right, good. Okay, and now somebody else unmute yourself and tell me what is, actually, we don't care about that stupid point. What is the y-intercept? Let's just pretend. What's the y-intercept? This is a really bad graph.
0, -2.
Yep, 0. Good. So like I said, on the they might show x is -1, 4 for the intercepts, and y is -2. And like I said, I hate that, but they do write it like that at times. But you're gonna have to ask the online problems and see what they want. See, I like the intercepts are points, so I like to see the Okay, do you guys want to do another one of these? Are you okay?
Can you do one more?
Okay, this right here, this is square root. So square root looks like that. So what would the intercept be?
-2, 0.
Yes, that's the y-intercept. Somebody yourself, what would be intercept?
Zero, 2.
Yep. I said you might see the x written like this, and you might see it written like that, and I hate that. But that might be what your test is going to look like. Pretty simple, right?
Yeah.
And that's the lesson. So all you have to do is be able to graph some points, be able to make a table and make some graphs, be able to use the calculator, just the basic function, find the x-intercepts and the y-intercepts. And now I'm gonna show you these story problems. So everybody look on page 161. Page 161. All right, you ready? So on page number 79, and what you're looking at is for number 79, 80, 81, and 82, you're looking at A, B, C, and D. So the x-axis is time, and the y-axis is the amount of snowfall. All right, so in 79, as the blizzard got worse, the snow fell harder and harder. What represents that? A, B, C, or D?
A.
So as time went on, as the blizzard got worse, the snow fell harder and harder. Is it A, B, C, or D?
I think
A.
it's A.
It's A. Yep, it's A. Okay, number 80. The snow fell more and more softly. So over time, the snow fell more softly. Which does it represent? A, B, C, or D?
C.
Nope. What C shows, the C shows that the snow's falling and then it stops. And then it snows really hard.
Is it D?
It's D. It's D. Okay, number 81. It snowed hard, but then it stopped. And after a short time, the snow started falling softly. Is that A, B, C, or D?
B.
Yep, it's B. Because the snow fell hard, then it stopped, and then after a short time, it started falling softly. All right, 82. It snowed softly, and then it stopped. And after a short time, the snow started falling hard. Which graph represents that?
C.
C, yep. Okay, now would you guys like to do another one of these together? I put 2 of these on the exam. Not tomorrow's exam, but for the exam that has 1, 1 in it. Do you want to do another one?
Yeah.
All right, let's do 83. 83 has to do with a plane. So the x-axis is seconds after takeoff, and the y-axis is the height of the plane. All right, so here we go. An airplane flew from Miami to San Francisco. Which graph represents that? The airplane flew from Miami to San Francisco.
Shouldn't it be A?
Well, let me ask you something. Do you ever board a plane in the air? So
No.
you're boarding the plane in the air, which is really scary.
No.
So it has to be, look at D. When you go on an airplane, do you go straight up like a flying saucer?
No. Is it B?
Yeah, because when you go on a plane, don't you start on the ground and go up and fly, but don't you have to come back to the ground to land? Like
Yeah.
you never get off a plane in the air, right? So doesn't the plane have to start on the ground, go in the air and land back on the ground?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, it's 11:43 and we're going to go into the new teams. We're going to start working on lesson 1-1. I hope you like the teams. What I would like you to do is when you go into the teams, you're going to, like my team won their football game yesterday. I like the Steelers. The Steelers are 4-0, by the way. They really ticked me off last year because Roethlisberger was acting like he didn't know how to play. So anyhow, I might start watching the Steelers again, but I've been pretty mad at them. But I want you to go into the teams, and I would like you to introduce yourself and say what football team you like. Now, it could be college or pro. I also like USC, but and Arizona State. But you're going to go into those teams. If you don't like football or you don't like any football teams, you're just going to introduce yourself and say what you like to do in your spare time. But for those of you who are football people, you're going to say what team you like, either college or pro. You're going to introduce yourself to your new team members. All right. And you can spend 5 or 10 minutes doing this because I think this is very important to get to know your team members. And then you're going to start on the assignment. So I do not care if I go in and you're still talking about things that don't have to do with math. I don't care today. So I just want you to talk to your team members and kind of get a feeling, kind of get to know them a little bit. And then you're going to start on lesson 1-1. Okay, anybody have any questions? All right, I'll see you in the teams then. All right, I'll see you in your Math Wizard teams. And then we're not checking back in. So class is over at 12:10. Make sure you don't leave early. A couple people left early last week, and I'm going to mark you absent if you leave early. So class is over at 12:10. So make sure you don't leave any earlier than 12:10. Okay? All right, I'll see you in the Math Wizard teams.